Hello and welcome to my little bookish corner of the internet. My name's Harriet. Today I'm going to be taking part in the last 10 books tag, and I was tagged by Ian over at Out of This World Reader, but I will leave the original creator of the tag down below so you can click on that and have a little look. I'm going to tag a couple of accounts to take part as well, and I will leave them up on the screen now and down in the description box below. I can't wait to see your videos and see what your answers for each question are going to be. So let's get started. The first question is, what is the last book that you didn't finish? And this one I feel is a little bit controversial just because so many people love this author and love the books that they make. But it was 1Q84 by Haruki Murakami. I hope I'm saying that right. This book was just icky. That's the only way I can describe it. I did read the whole of the first book, and then I maybe read 75% of the second book. That's the one that gave me the ick feels. So I suppose I kind of finished the two books in a way. I did skim through the last 25% of that second book, but I didn't pick up the third one. I just wasn't interested. It just didn't give me the right vibes. There was a lot of talk about child molestation, and in a way that just didn't feel quite right with me. It didn't sit well with me. I'm fine usually with reading stuff like that, but this book, I think maybe it took it too far, or it didn't touch on enough of how gross it was, and there was also some underage sex and sexualization of an underage person, and there was rape as well, and it just seemed super inappropriate. Usually I can tell when a book is doing that there's like a reason behind it, but this just didn't feel right to me. Maybe I was in a bad headspace. So many people love this book and so they didn't feel the same way that I did about it. But yeah, that was the last book that I didn't finish. I didn't want to. Oh, I also want to talk about how in both books, every time a woman is mentioned, the author will always say how big or small her boobs are, whether she's happy with the size of them. Just gonna leave that there. Okay, what is the last book that you reread? And if you've watched my recent video about books that I read when I was younger and would I reread them, you will know that I started the Hush Hush series and I am literally just about to finish it. So yeah, the Hush Hush series by Becca Fitzpatrick. These are stories following a young girl called Nora Gray and her relationship and friendships and how she interacts with various fallen angels or guardian angels. Yeah, it's really cheesy and it's really angsty. And I feel like if I didn't read them when I was younger, I probably wouldn't be enjoying them now, but I'm on the final book and I'm loving it. They are extremely over the top and dramatic, and it's just great for something easy to read. I mentioned in my previous video that I'm reading it between Game of Thrones to kind of balance out that because it's quite a heavy series. So yeah, for me it's just very nostalgic and I'm really enjoying reading them. The next question is, what is the last book that you bought? And that is an easy one. Sapiens, A Brief History of Mankind by Yuval Noah Harari. I hope I'm saying that name right. I'm not very good at pronouncing things. This is a non-fiction book about the history of humankind, basically, and it follows us all the way up to modern day, and then I think there is a sequel, and that follows the author's predictions for the future based on our history. So that would be really cool. I haven't actually started this yet because I'm doing a buddy read with my partner and he's not quite ready to start it yet. But when I do get around to it, I have a feeling I'm going to really enjoy it. That's the last physical book that I bought. But then I just bought myself a new Kindle, so I've been buying some books on here too. And looking at this, I have bought more books than I realised. They were all really cheap or included in the Kindle Unlimited, where you can just read books for free. I got a 3-month free trial with my Kindle, so I'll probably cancel it after that, to be honest. There's not that many books on there. But I bought Taylor Jenkins Reid, One True Loves. I bought The Wind in the Willows because I don't think I've ever read it before, and if I have, I think it probably would have been when I was younger and it would have been read to me, and I think that was 99p, so that's why I picked that one up. I got Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte, The Professor by Charlotte Bronte, and Villette by Charlotte Bronte as well. I bought Insatiable by Daisy Buchanan because that was 99p at the time. It was like a one-day deal kind of thing, and I've already read that. I will do a review. Oh, I also downloaded the complete novels of Jane Austen just so I have them on here because they were free, and I thought, why not? So I do have all of the physical copies and I've read maybe half of them now, but I thought it'd be nice to have on here in case I forget to bring a book with me. I can just dip into a Jane Austen book and it'll be nice and familiar. And then the absolute most recent book that I bought on here is The Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs by Steve Brisati. Is that how you say his name? So that is a non-fiction about the history of dinosaurs. I am really interested in dinosaurs. That sounds very nerdy saying it out loud. And now that is out on the internet, but I just find them really interesting and crazy how long ago it was that they were on this earth and they were here before us, and the way the earth looked back then as well compared to how it looks now is just mad. So I'm excited to try that one. Oh, and that was also 99p, so if you're looking for cheap books, ebooks are so good. I'm really getting into them, and I'm going to talk about the Kindle in a separate review. If you would find that interesting, I think I might do like a little is it worth buying video. Let me know down below if you would be interested in seeing that. Okay, the next question is, what is the last book that you said you read but you didn't? Now, I have never said I've read a book that I haven't read any of, so just completely outright fibbed about it. But I did start reading Voyage of the Beagle by Charles Darwin, which is a non-fiction. It's like his collection of diary entries almost, as he was travelling around and finding out more about the world and basically how he comes into the theory of evolution. And I got maybe about halfway through it and it was just kind of boring. It was like the same thing over and over, and the only things I found interesting were the different animals and species that he found when he was there that don't exist anymore. It was just a lot of writing and I don't think I was in the right mindset, so I just kind of said that I read it. I may still pick this up, I kept it just in case, and I may dip into it now and again, but it is actually quite a heavy read. The language that's used in there isn't too hard to understand, it's quite accessible, but it just feels really heavy. And I haven't picked it up since, and that was maybe a year and a half ago, so yeah, that is the book that I said that I finished, but I didn't. The next question is, what is the last book that you wrote in the margins of? And I have never written a book, unless it was a textbook at school and we were told to. I would like to, maybe that will be something that I do with Sapiens. Because it's non-fiction, I can make my own little notes. If I'm struggling to understand something and I have to look it up, I can write that in the book. And now I've got the Kindle as well, that'll be a lot easier because you can just highlight and make notes, and I have been doing that. I did it with Insatiable because there's a lot of quotes in there that really resonated with me, and I have shared them on my Goodreads, which I'll leave linked down below so you can see the kind of quotes that I found really interesting and really relatable. But yeah, if we're actually thinking about a book, it would probably have been something I read in school, like Animal Farm by George Orwell or Of Mice and Men. The next question is, what is the last book that you had signed? And I've unfortunately never gone anywhere to get a book signed, so I haven't been to a book signing or anything like that. It's only really been in the last year that I've really got back into reading, really got back into the swing of things, and obviously because of the lockdowns I haven't been able to go and get anything signed, but I do have a signed edition of We the Survivors by Tasha Owl. Does that count? That's the closest thing I've got. I found this in Poundland, but it was originally from Waterstones, so I literally got it for £1, and it's got the signature in the centre there. I have yet to read this, but it is on my anticipated reads because I really want to get to it, and I've heard that it touches on a lot of difficult topics that some people are too scared to write about and that I'm not really aware of myself, so that'll be a really cool read. Yeah, that is the only signed book I have. The next question is another one that I don't really have an answer to, and that is, what is the last book that you lost? I don't think I've ever lost a book, maybe when I was younger, but I honestly don't remember. The only things that I can think of is in my childhood, if I'd left it somewhere, Nan's house or my aunt's house, and they just chucked it out because I grew up. Yeah, thankfully I haven't lost any books or lent them out to anyone and they haven't given them back or anything like that. I've been quite lucky. Oh, I haven't shown you my mug of the day. Now I'm back home, I've got all of my lovely crazy mugs that don't match. So this is my Cheshire Cat one from the Disney store. I'm drinking a Feel New tea by Pucker. I haven't tried this before, but work gave it to me in a little goodie bag. Apparently it's got aniseed in it, which I despise, but it doesn't really smell like that. It smells more like oats. And it's not bad. It tastes kind of savoury, but in a good way. Okay, next question. What is the last book that you had to replace? So I haven't ever had to replace a book because it's been lost or someone just didn't give it back to me, anything like that. But I did replace the final book in the Annals of the Western Shore trilogy by Ursula Le Guin. So that one's called Powers, and I got a copy off of World of Books when I bought the other two, so it's a second-hand website, but you don't get to see the exact copy that's going to come. So the first two matched and they had really nice metallic finishing on them and a nice pattern in the background. And then the third one was a little bit newer, and I think it was just like a standard kind of poorly made copy, so I was a bit upset about that, and I eventually took the risk of reordering another copy off of World of Books and just hoping that it was the right one when it came, and it was, So they all match now, which is really cool. Am I the only one that's really fussy about all of their books matching in a set? I have to have a matching set, otherwise it really plays on my mind. This next question makes me laugh because the answer to it is either going to sit with you and you'll be able to relate to it very highly, or you're just going to be like, what was wrong with you? The question is, what is the last book that you had an argument over? And I'm not a very argumentative person. Usually if I get a little bit irate about something, I will just cry, so I don't even bother. But the only time I can think about this happening over a book would be when Twilight came out and I first read it, and I was and still am Team Edward, so I would argue with the Team Jacob people and tell them that they were wrong. That's probably the closest I've ever got to an argument about a book or series. Yeah, I don't know why you would want to be Team Jacob, but if you are, that's fine. And the final question is, what is the last book that you couldn't get a hold of? So this is a book series by Kim Stanley Robinson. It's the Mars series, and it's not actually for me, it would be for my partner. And we found this particular run, I think it was maybe when they were first released, and it looks super retro and super cool, and they're really lovely. And we thought that we'd found them multiple times by different sellers. So we thought we found them on Amazon, we thought we found them on eBay, so we paid for them. They were a little bit more than regular books too, so we hoped that meant that it would be these kind of rare copies. And every single time we ordered them, they turned up and they were this version, which neither of us liked, and they felt really cheap. And we have yet to find them, so if you know anyone that's selling them, please let me know. We can't find them anywhere, and if we do, they'll turn up and they'll be wrong, or people are selling like one of the series for a ridiculous price and we can't find the other two. Research continues. Maybe one day I'll be super lucky and find them in a charity shop or something. Okay, that is it for my video today. I hope you enjoyed my answers to this tag. Thank you again for Out of This World Reader for tagging me. It was really fun to film this, and it gave me a chance to have a look at my book collection as well. Feel free to take part even if I haven't tagged you. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you in my next video, and thank you for watching. Bye!